All right, thank you very much, and we're going to push through the rest of this agenda. We're at 2.04, community engagement. Dr. King?
Vice Chair, members of the board, 2.04, community engagement. We will continue with our strategic plan updates. Ms. Mallon.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to update you on the progress of the strategic action plans for which the communications and public relations team is responsible. I'd like to, first of all, recognize the members of our team who are in this room and also downstairs who you don't see, who are performing the job in support of the strategic plan. Also would like to thank those members of our team who were not able to be here tonight but are very integral to what you'll hear, our web team, and Ms. Karen Tanner, the action steps I'm going to update you on tonight. She's an integral part of, and she's an extremely hard worker on behalf of the children. So thank you to Karen, even though she couldn't be here tonight. It's our opinion that all of the progress you're hearing about today from all departments is very big news, and it's worth its own front page. And that's why you see the presentation that you're seeing. The Communications and Public Relations team is directly responsible for 3 action plans for Phase 1, Years 1 and 2 of the strategic plan. And we share responsibility for a 4th action plan with Media Services, strong collaboration there, and a 5th action plan with the Department of Assessment, Research, and Accountability, which is Dr. Bailey's department. And we very much appreciate that collaboration. At this time, we're 66% complete with the Year 1 action steps, bless you, and 64% complete for action plans that span Years 1 and 2. And I'm now going to highlight a few of those items and explain their importance to the overall work. All day, every day, our students and staff members in our schools are doing wonderful things to demonstrate what it means to be a cornerstone of our proudly diverse community. Community members who are not in our schools every day, along with current and prospective parents, need an opportunity to see the excellent work so that they can then engage with NPS, understand our work and our successes, and enroll their children in our schools or encourage their clients to move to Norfolk because they'll feel confident in the educational experience children will have. The action plans I'll quickly review now are designed to promote those ideas. Action Plan 7, embedded within Strategy 1, and Action Plan 15, embedded within Strategy 2, are both well on track for not only completion, but completion with quality within the time frame called for in the strategic plan. Action Plan 7 will result in the posting of digital welcome tours on each school's website. We have, in collaboration with Media Services and wonderful student Media Services representatives from all over the district, 28 digital tours completed, and those will be unveiled at the Digital Storytelling Festival this Saturday, April 5th at 9 a.m. at Norview High School. And board members and others seeing this presentation tonight are cordially invited to attend and see the wonderful work our students and staff members have put into the digital stories about their schools. And to whet your appetite, I have a preview.
Welcome to Campus Stella Elementary. We are a proud school with lots of diversity.
Wait, I thought this was Campus Stella.
No, that is the old Campus Stella building.
Is this Campus Stella?
No, our kindergarten and first grade classes attend Berkeley Early Childhood Center. Let's go into the temporary building located on Princess Anne Road. It used to be J.J. Roberts.
See how diverse our school can be.
We are now the Cardinals, and our school colors are black and red. In our new nest, we have a second story for grades 3, 4, and 5. Campus Stella is a STEM school. We learn about science, technology, engineering, and math. Here, third graders learn how temperature changes water vapor into rain. Here's Jeremy Wheeler from Wavy News sharing weather forecasting with fourth graders. Campus Stella students are concerned about the environment.
And Visit with NASA has the students talking to an astronaut.
Our technology is cool. We have a computer lab and laptops. We use smartboard technology.
We can read ebooks at school.
An important part of our school is keeping our students safe. We practice drills for fire, tornadoes, and earthquakes.
Of course, we like to have fun. We go to basketball games.
Students and teachers dress up as book characters.
It's
checks and balances that lead to our students.
They help with any tasks to help our families.
And donate supplies for anyone needing them. We have authors visit.
Reading is important for all grade levels in both of our buildings.
Hands-on activities make learning fun.
We have anti-bullying assemblies.
All of our students deserve the best possible education.
Our art teacher says, "What about the arts?"
A student shows off an award-winning piece of art.
Our art and music resources offer a variety of ways for us to be creative.
This artwork is beautiful.
An after-school program brings dance to our Cardinals, with members from the Dance Theater of Harlem.
We are into fitness.
Campus Stella wins award like Battle of the Books. And the Sea Perch Challenge building underwater robots.
What does the future hold for Campostella? I know it will be exciting.
So, and the outtakes are really cute, so I hope you'll take an opportunity to see those after the digital festival. Action Plan 15 calls for establishing an annual round of school tours for targeted stakeholder groups such as realtors and media members who play key roles in terms of feeding perceptions about area school divisions. And the reason this is in the strategic plan is that it's critically important for key stakeholder groups to receive a 360-degree view of NPS, which includes a full spotlight on the value of our school division and the great work we're doing for children every day. Our first tour is scheduled for local media members on April 23rd at Campostella Elementary, and will also provide us an opportunity to educate media members more fully on the NPS Transformation Initiative and STEM-focused district-wide and at transformation schools such as Campostella. An additional opportunity for realtors is in the scheduling process, and we're very excited about that. It's coming together nicely. Another item I'd just like to very quickly highlight is that we've launched our e-newsletter. This is in Action Plan 2 under Strategic Plan Strategy 1, and stakeholders can subscribe to this on our homepage for the division. Houston, we have a problem. There it goes. Thank you. Another item I want to highlight is our Communications Advisory Committee is reconvening on April 22nd to continue the work around the reimagining of the NPS brand as the cornerstone of our proudly diverse community. And we're excited that the Virginia School Boards Association is bringing in, allowing us to bring in Peter Sangenberger, a trainer who's going to work with the community-oriented group and talk about branding and what that means for a school division beyond just the logo. This is tied to our work with the Department of Assessment, Research, and Accountability to quantify stakeholder and community perceptions, beginning via an online survey later this spring. And that concludes my update on the status of the strategic plan, action plans for communications. Anybody have any questions?
For the future,
I could have said what you were going to say.
I know it's for the future, for the future.
Yes, sir. Thank
Well
you.
done, well done.
Anybody else? Thank you
Okay,
very
and
much.
then Dr. King also has asked us to keep you apprised of communications efforts around the NPS Transformation Initiative, and this slide offers some of those efforts which are ongoing. Staff meetings are scheduled for next week at the schools that you see listed there, Lafayette Winona Middle School on Monday, Bear Lawn and Poplar Halls on Tuesday, Tidewater Park on Wednesday, and Friday at PB Young Elementary School. The goal is to, obviously following the board's approval, to get those in before spring break to make sure they happened with our staff members. And parent sessions, the dates and times are being finalized, but the goal is to have those beginning the week of April 28th public hearing required for Lafayette Winona is scheduled for Monday, April 28th at 6 p.m., and publicity is beginning on that initiative now.
Any questions?
Just clarification on the 28th, is that a board hearing?
That is a school board public hearing.
So it's, right,
Right.
So we're required to be there?
Yes.
that's the same day as the Hot Topic Conference. The Hot Topic Conference ends at 2.
That's what we
but it-
were told, yeah,
but it's
that
still,
we could still work for that.
a lot of stuff going on.
So we can certainly revisit if need be. Wanted to make sure that we got it on the calendar. We were told that the Hot Topics ended at 2, so that it potentially wouldn't be a conflict. Yes, 6 p.m.
My feeling is we need to get out as early and as often as possible to the Lafayette community in any way we can. So I think we do our best effort to make ourselves available for that night. We'll finish at 2. I know we have training the next day as well. I think we just need to really say we're going to be there and fully committed to allowing this community engagement opportunity to take place. That's Courtney Doyle's perspective.
I agree, because there's a whole lot of different remarks surfacing about what's going to happen with Lafayette, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead of the game and clearly state and reiterate what is going to be taking place at Lafayette versus other things that come up that might get blown out of proportion. So that sounds fine.
Ms. Dorr?
You know, I know we're not talking about our agenda yet, but this is almost a segue, and I will be brief now and then speak longer later as we talk about our agenda planning. But it's great that Elizabeth provided this information now, but I do feel very strongly that we need to hear about all things Transformation Initiative education planning every week so that we are completely informed of the status of where we are. So I'll just stop there because I'd like to elaborate a little bit further when we talk about agenda, because this is great to know now, but we need to know a lot more than what you have here on this slide as a board. So I appreciate you opening the conversation.
Anybody else?
So just to clarify, so the 28th is a firm date.
Well, obviously, board direction, but yet we did go ahead and schedule that. We have not put it on the website yet.
We can be
Right.
flexible with that, if that is the will of the board. It's a date that is available. Of course, it's a tight fit with the fact that we have another event going on. So if there's some other options that the board would like for us to consider, we could do that in addition to.
That's a 6 p.m. start time, right?
Yes, sir.
And the hot topics may be over by
At 2.
5? At 2, yeah.
What's that? Yeah, no, I was just thinking more I'm fine if that's where we go, but if it's a big issue, and so if I don't know what the typical format is, but let's say if it's 3 minutes, you could be there all night. So I just want just to make sure, because we have the training that's supposed to start the next morning. So, if it's the 28th, it's the 28th. I just want to know if it's firm so I can rearrange my schedule accordingly, because I just didn't know that we were looking at the 28th.
Well, I guess with that said, I would listen to feedback from the board in terms of whether you think that we need to make an adjustment, because we can certainly look at a different day.
I'll
You wanna
adjust.
Take a straw poll? I'm good with it.
6 p.m., as long as it doesn't conflict with the other.
I'm good.
Yeah, I've actually taken that Monday off because I usually work on Monday, so that would probably be an
That worked
ideal
better
day
for you
me.
anyway.
It's fine. I'll make it work. Just
I think Reverend Ed said yes to.
Did you feel a little jolt there?
I think we're good with that date.
Yeah.
Okay, we will begin
Let's move forward.
publicizing. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 2.05, finances and business.
Good afternoon, good evening, Dr. Robinson, school board members, and Dr. King. Dr. Bailey and I will tag team on these updates on two plans under strategies number 4 and 5, as they both relate to the recent work that has been conducted by DeYoung Richter to assist the school board in developing strategies and recommendations around offering, as we go forward, school choice, as well as evaluating the efficient use of our current facilities and how some adjustments might assist us in developing more options educationally for our parents and students in the city. So what I'll do is just start with strategy number 5. I do not have a PowerPoint for you. The strategies that we have are very quick, and I think you're probably well informed on the one strategy as it relates to Plan 14 under Strategy 5, where we procure the services of an educational planning firm to assist us in evaluating our facilities, to determine what our current usage and capacities are, to give us some recommendations as it relates to attendance zones based on live-in, as well as we go forward and plan. You heard from DeYoung Richter. They provided a very formal presentation to the board. Dr. King provided you a set of recommendations based on information that the DeYoung Richter work provided that is included in Transformation Initiative, as well as some things that we would look to implement in years beyond next year. So as it relates to Plan 14 under Strategy 5, at this point, we would consider this particular plan, which has 6 action steps, completed. It began, of course, with the procurement of a professional services firm, and they provided the report. So unless there are any questions, we would consider the work that they provided as complete. Of course, board members have expressed interest in retaining their services for some follow-up work, which we're doing. And quite honestly, it's been Dr. Bailey's team that has really led this effort. Finance was involved to the degree that we wanted to make sure we procured the services, but it was Dr. Bailey and her team who really put in the labor and the work to get this done, to get us to this point. So, of course, we can take credit for 100%, but it's her team that really did the work.
Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Bailey. Any questions on Strategy 5, Plan 14, and the 6 steps that we consider to be 100% completed? And as Dr. King said, now the challenge is implementation with fidelity. Any questions? Strategy number 4, Plan 14, includes 3 action steps, primarily related to establishing an equitable and efficient system for school choice. Again, the first step in this process was to procure the services of DeYoung Richter, which we did, to really determine where we are facility-wise and our capacity, and again, to look at attendance zones as we begin to carve out an equitable and efficient system of school choice, again, ultimately to improve the quality of instruction and education we're providing, as well as to hopefully balance demographics that will promote higher student achievement across the city. So we consider at this point to be 33% of the way there, 1/3 of the way there, and that the first step was to procure the services and get that data and information. And we've done that, so now we will begin the process of moving into the establishment of a school choice task force.
Right, and I think that it was suggested that we maintain our steering committee from the demographer project, and so we plan to incorporate or invite those individuals who would like to continue on, but also serve in this capacity as well. We'd like to try to keep the group small, but certainly we would like to welcome anyone who would like to participate.
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
2.06, Dr. King.
Oh, to the members of the board, I will keep my remarks pretty brief. I just would like to center on process that we're implementing, and I think today is an example of that. It's one of the first major opportunities that we've had to utilize a work session setting to provide the quarterly update to the board around the strategic plan as it relates to the major departments. And that's what we talked about as a governance leadership team in terms of the items being presented based on the strategic plan. The strategic plan, of course, should lead, guide, and focus our work. The major departments during quarterly reports and even formatively during work sessions monthly will report on the real-time activity that is taking place to give you an update in terms of how we're doing moving forward with the strategic plan. And the discussions that take place across departments will also position the board to ask the questions necessary to begin to enter into the discussion and dialogue during the work session, and determine implications for action items for the regular session. So I think that today's meeting is an example of how we would like to begin to do that work. And what we should see for the next regular session would be action items that would have surfaced from our discussion. But remember, today was, of course, work session, time for discussion, but we have between now and the next regular session to have further discussions asked of me and my and the designees that are part of the departments to ensure that board members are able to make informed decisions in reference to action items. I will also remind the board that this month is a little bit different because of spring break. Typically, you have more time between the work session and the regular session. There's a shorter, a more crunched timeline because our regular session is next week. So my remarks really center on that, with the exception of the fact that I'd like to thank the members of the team for their work, for being prepared to present to you. But as they do so, this, of course, is the work that will guide day-to-day decision-making and the kind of work that members of the department will do on a day-to-day basis, because this is the work. So, but thank you to team members for the time and investment that you have put forward to be ready for presentations and discussion today. With that, I close.
Regarding the next business meeting, it's going to be important for me to have an explicit statement of the Special Education Parental Advisory Committee saying they support that.
Right.
And all you can do is just say, they're on.
Yeah.
Email to me and say, they're good. I don't need a formal thing, but it would be helpful to me to have that long in advance of that night. Thank you.
All right.
As Dr. King said, our next meeting will be April the 9th. It'll be a regular business board meeting. It is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. With our closed executive session, and then moving right to the open formal session at 7 p.m. On the agenda, already listed on the agenda besides the normal activities, we will have on the consent agenda, hopefully we'll be able to vote on the special education plan and the policies that we approved of today. Are you all ready to move forward on those votes pending the information we get from CIAC? Okay. In addition to those consent item agendas, if you look at number 5, we are going to get a report on the Virginia STEM Innovation Network, the summer school update, and 4.04 is going to be an added item, and that we're going to get a report on PPEA in that meeting. Does anybody have any desire or need to add anything to the agenda on April the 9th?
So if I could, let me just speak globally, and whether we see it on the 9th or not. I think it as monumental and transformational as this educational plan is, I think it's important as a board that we understand what is happening in terms of the action plans associated with truly all that was reviewed here in terms of a recommendation for this year and next. I think it's important that we understand where you are as administration in terms of researching those, further exploring the recommendations, because I still, for instance, have some questions in terms of what is the vertical alignment from elementary to middle? What does the disbursement of children look like from Lafayette, Winona, et cetera, et cetera? Those are just two. So I know you guys are looking into that very closely, but I think it's important that we understand what's happening. And also, I think by a regular report out, it also helps the community understand where we are. So it's not just so much for our benefit as it is for the community. So I feel strongly that we need to be very transparent about how we are proceeding with great precision and with great fidelity, as you say, Dr. King, on this initiative, so people know exactly what we're doing.
What type of report, or how would you expect it to be reported to you, and in what depth?
I think each recommendation here needs to have a relative action plan and steps that go into it for this year and for next year.
I mean, that could
Whether
take
that-
a whole meeting in of itself.
Well, it can be sent to us and we can read it in advance, and then highlights can be given to us, and then we can certainly ask questions. So it doesn't need to be a PowerPoint every week that's spoken to us as much as it is shared with us in advance, and then we can ask questions. Sorry?
It could even be in like the weekly progress note.
It could, or it could be in the weekly memo, whatever it is. I just feel strongly that there's a regular update, because Rodney and I were speaking with Dr. Savigny beforehand. That window between now and the start of the school year is pretty tight. And the window between now and the end of our school year is pretty tight. So you have a lot of communication between now and the end of the year to students, to parents, to teachers, principals, to the community at large, for them to weigh in and for you to be able to share what the plans are.
Dr. King?
Along that line, I would, of course, remind the board that the major pieces that are before us that you should expect to receive more extensive information on first would be, of course, the Lafayette Winona
Right.
item,
Right.
as well as the pairing of the schools and the things that are in place for phase one.
Right.
Outside of those, the additional pieces are phased for following. Of course, we continue that planning.
Right.
But what I'd like to suggest to the board that what you will receive will be information that updates you in a timely manner in reference to those major pieces and any other information that will go along with what's being phased in the next phase as well. But most of the information will center on the Lafayette Winona piece, the reconfiguration, the communication. You mentioned steps for redistribution of students, the communication plan around that, how that's being done. And that will surface in the report from a form of committees that are established to do that. So what I would need to do is to get with my team to determine just how we want to craft those reports.
Okay.
And so what we'll probably do is end up doing a committee report in some format that will come to you electronically.
That's fine.
But we already committed to, with the board, monthly updates in public meetings. And so those monthly updates are to be done during work sessions. So between each work session, committee activity, as it is being done, we can give those committee reports to you electronically. So
Perfect.
So maybe you could, between now and next week, kind of brainstorm with your staff and just kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of how you want to roll that out to us.
Absolutely.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, that's fine.
Dr. Stewart?
This goes to what's going to happen on the 14th of May, and I just don't see it limited to CIP and transformational. If this is master planning, there are many items. During our agenda planning time on the 9th, it's 30 minutes I allocated, I'd like to at least begin the conversation about other topics that need to be woven through there, such as time and whatever. If this is a true master planning time, there are many things to consider, not just CIP. So I would hope that we could consider many things during master planning time. And I just want to make sure that all board members have said that they could be there. There was some question that I had about availability of all board members on May 14th. So I would like to have a preparatory discussion about some of the things that other people had on their minds so that we didn't arrive on the 14th and not maximize the use of that time.
Well, that would be a good use of the agenda planning time
Yes.
on May the 7th, like you said. I think that's a great idea.
I just want to make sure also all board members are planning to be there.
Yes.
I am.
Yes, I think you were kind enough to work around my schedule, so that we're meeting in the afternoon, I think, on the 14th versus the morning.
Well, it says, unfortunately, it says 8:30 to 4.
I think we
I
changed
think we
it to
changed
the
it to the afternoon.
I like it.
Because we're going to do the
Then we move
14th
it
and
to
the 28th, remember?
Then we have a 28th, and I don't see a sheet on that. Is everybody cool on the 28th still?
Yeah, I had master planning from 2:30 to 6 on the 14th, and then on the 28th, I had it from 1 to 5.
I had it too, I just didn't see a sheet on
Right,
it.
I think that's what we decided.
So Sherman, have you got that? Thanks.
What was the time you had on 28th?
28th, I had 1 to 5.
Cool. Everybody's got it. If everybody's at both of them, then that makes me happy.
Can I just go back to the transformation piece again? So on the public hearing that we're going to have on the 28th,
28th.
is that going to, so that'll include a presentation that will address some of these things that Ms. Doyle just mentioned, and then then the public will come forward and
Public
give their
engagement and response,
give their
yes.
feedback. So some of what, I guess, what you're talking about in terms of Lafayette, Winona, we're probably going to see in a week or so anyway, right?
Right.
Okay.
But in the interim, activity that committees undertake and progress related to it, we can, send that to you between now and the 28th as that happens, because committees are in discussions and planning, because we're planning that hearing also. And so that kind of information can be sent to you.
Okay. Just as a reminder, next Tuesday, we will have our regular NPS board meeting. On Wednesday, I'm sorry, did I say Tuesday? Wednesday. On May the 7th, we'll have our next work session, beginning at 2 p.m. On the 14th would be our NPS master planning meeting. On the 21st would be our NPS board meeting. And on the 28th, NPS master planning meeting again. And then on June the 4th is a work session. And then June 11th will be the board meeting. And, oh, the 29th, yes. The 29th, I forgot. Hot topic on the 28th and training on the 29th.
So basically, every day we'll see each other.
Yes.
The only thing that you and I differed on is, are we on May 7th meeting at 1 or 2?
It says 2 o'clock here.
Okay.
Are there any other items, agenda items that you want the agenda planning committee to entertain?
Just want to make sure that we have some time during the 9th to talk about the 14th.
On the 7th. On the 7th, or the 14th.
Yeah.
Right.
The next one we
The
get
next work
together to
session.
have the
Yeah, I've got
planning
that. I made a
time
note
for
of
the
that, and
master
we'll talk
planning
about
to
that.
make sure that we know what we're going to be doing.
We would add to the agenda for April 9, the PPA update with, you did?
I said that.
Okay.
Anything else? We're dwindling out here. You can see it's, we're running out of board members. So, does anybody have anything they want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.
Excuse me,